Hey guys, welcome back to Walk and Study. Today, we will be going over some advanced TOEFL vocabulary. This video is great for anyone studying for the TOEFL or anyone who wants to learn some advanced English vocabulary. As we work through these words, we will be hiking in Walker Ranch in Boulder, Colorado. Let's get started. Our first word is alter. Alter is a verb and it means to change or to adjust. To use alter in a sentence, we could say, the magazine Vogue alters the photos of models they publish. So the magazine Vogue changes or adjusts, in this case using something like Photoshop, the photos it publishes. We could also say, my sister and her friends altered their homework so everyone had the same answer. So my sister and her friends changed or adjusted their homework so that everyone said the same thing. Sounds like they may have been cheating. Our next word is scheme. Scheme is a noun and it means a large plan or the system by which something is organized or arranged. Using scheme in a sentence, we could say, the bank robbers developed a brilliant scheme for breaking into the vault and stealing all the money. So the bank robbers developed a brilliant plan for robbing the bank. We could also say, in order to make sure every citizen could receive medical care, the government developed a public health scheme. So in order to make sure everyone could receive medical treatment, the government developed a system to organize and ensure public health. Our next word is discrete, spelled D-I-S-C-R-E-T-E. Discrete is an adjective, and it means individually separate or distinct. So we use discrete when we are talking about things that are totally different from and often have no parts in common with another thing. For example, we might say, democracy and dictatorship are two discrete forms of government. So democracy and dictatorship are two separate and distinct forms of government. They are two different things. We could also say, the builders separated the house into two discrete apartments. So the builders separated the houses into two different apartments. Our next word is also discrete, only this time discrete is spelled D-I-S-C-R-E-E-T. Although it is pronounced the exact same way as the discrete we just went over, it has a very different meaning. This discrete is also an adjective, but it means careful or subtle in one's speech or actions so that one doesn't gather attention. Using discrete in a sentence, we can say, the man in the front row of the concert hall gave a discreet wave to his wife, the conductor of the orchestra. So the man waved at his wife, who was the conductor of the orchestra, in a way that did not gather too much attention. We could also say, the discreet detective stayed in the shadows while he followed the suspect. So the detective, who was careful not to draw attention to himself, stayed in the shadows as he followed the suspect. Our next word is component. Component is a noun, and it means a part of a larger thing or whole. Using component in a sentence, we could say, a cell phone is made of many small components and wires. So a cell phone, which is the larger thing, is made of many small parts and wires. We could also say, the book's argument had many different components. So the larger argument or idea in the book had many different parts or pieces. Our next word is apparent. Apparent is an adjective and it has two main definitions. First, apparent can mean clearly seen or understood, something obvious. Using apparent in a sentence with this definition, we could say, after working on his next book for years, it was apparent the writer would never finish. So after working on his book for a very long time, it became obvious or clearly understood that the writer would never finish. We could also say, after watching the little girl play Mozart, it became apparent that she was a genius. So after watching the little girl play Mozart, it became obvious or clear to understand that she was a genius. The second definition of apparent is seeming true but not necessarily true. Using apparent in a sentence with this definition, we could say, the apparent reason for the truck's big tires was so that it could travel on the roughest roads, but the real reason was the owner's desire to see above the traffic. Our next word is derive. Derive is a verb, and it means to come from or to originate from. Using derive in a sentence, we could say, plastic is derived from oil. So plastic comes from or is created from oil. We could also say, the so-called Romantic languages derive from Latin. So the languages that we call Romantic languages come from or originate with Latin. Our next word is aspect. Aspect is a noun and it means a feature, characteristic, or specific piece of something. Using aspect in a sentence, we could say, Sarah was interested in the aspect of her world history class focused on the Ottoman Empire. So Sarah was interested in the specific part of her world history class that was focused on the Ottoman Empire. We could also say, the aspect of the Transformers movie that my brother liked the most was the special effects. So the specific part or feature of the Transformers movie that my brother liked was the special effects. Our next word is valid. Valid is an adjective that means having a strong foundation or basis in logic and facts, something that is reasonable. We often use valid when talking about ideas. Using valid in a sentence, we could say, the book review made many valid points about the writer's new novel. So the book review made many well-reasoned and logical points about the novel. We could also say, the jury did not find the lawyer's arguments valid. So the jury did not think the lawyer's arguments were very logical or reasonable. Our next word is capacity. Capacity is a noun and it has two main definitions. The first definition is the amount of or volume that something can hold. So with this definition of capacity, we could say, my car's gas tank has a capacity of 20 liters. So the gas tank in my car can hold a volume of 20 liters. We could also say, the hotel is at maximum capacity. There are no empty rooms left. So the hotel has reached the limit of what it can hold or the limit of its capacity. The second main definition for capacity is ability. So we could say, Sasha's capacity for work is impressive. So Sasha has an impressive ability to just keep working and working. We could also say, few people have the capacity to understand physics like Einstein. So few people have the ability, talent, or skill to understand physics like Einstein. Our next word is negate. Negate is a verb, and it means to make something not true or not effective. Using negate in a sentence, we could say, studying all night might help you learn more, but sleeping less can negate the positive effects. So studying all night might allow you to learn more material, but getting very little sleep can counteract the positive effects of the studying because you can't remember what you read as well. We could also say, Liverpool's excellent play for 88 minutes was negated by Atletico Madrid's 2 late goals. So Liverpool's excellent play for most of the game was made irrelevant or not effective when Atletico Madrid scored 2 late goals. Our next word is perceive. Perceive is a verb, and it means to be aware of something or to sense or feel. Using perceive in a sentence, we could say, Allison perceived that Jack was not telling her the whole truth. So Allison was aware of the fact that Jack was not telling her everything. We could also say, whales and dolphins can perceive sounds that humans cannot. So whales and dolphins can sense or recognize sounds that we humans cannot sense. Our next word is compensate. Compensate is a verb, and it has 2 main definitions. The first definition is to give someone something, often money, for some kind of injury or suffering, or to just pay someone. So we could say, to compensate for the car accident, the insurance company paid the driver $10,000. So the insurance company paid the driver $10,000 for the injury they suffered in the accident. We could also say something like, my new job compensates me much more than my old job. So my new job pays me much more than my old job. The second main definition for compensate is to help correct a problem with another more positive thing. Using compensate with this definition, we could say, to compensate for the effects of the coronavirus pandemic, the government sent every citizen a check in the mail. So to fight or correct the economic problems caused by the virus, the government sent everyone money. Our next word is retain. Retain is a verb, and it means to keep or to continue to have or contain something. Using retain in a sentence, we could say, in order to retain their best computer engineers, Google pays them very high salaries. So in order to keep their best computer engineers at the company, Google pays them a lot of money. We could also say, even though Bill's grandmother moved to the United States from Spain when she was a child, she still retains a Spanish accent. So even though Bill's grandmother moved to the US when she was small, she still has an accent. Okay, our last word is criteria. Criteria is a noun, and it means the measures by which you assess or decide something. Using criteria in a sentence, we could say, a good TOEFL essay must include certain criteria, including good structure, clear arguments and ideas, and appropriate vocabulary. So the measures by which we assess or judge a good TOEFL essay include good structure, clear arguments, and appropriate vocabulary. We could also say, SpaceX postponed the rocket launch because the weather did not fit the criteria for a safe launch. With that, we've gone over some advanced and very important TOEFL vocabulary. I hope this lesson was helpful to you all. As always, subscribe below, give us a like if you found the video useful, and let us know in the comments section what else you'd like to learn about or see in our next walk-and study lesson. Thanks, guys. Take care.